Show in.
Okay, welcome to Boxing Meetup. That's my new YouTube show and channel.
Oh, okay.
My brother, we've been friends for 30 plus years. And
Yeah. Or more.
yes, sir. I'm gonna go into all that. But first, I want to start out. I'm gonna tell how I came into your family. Then I'm gonna let you talk. This happened. I think it was 1986. I was in Houston. I had just got out of high school, 18 years old, and I was with the Frank Tate now.
Okay.
And Frank had won the Olympics. And
Right.
Jesse Reed was training Frank, and at that time he was Roger's trainer, also your brother. And it was prior to Roger winning the world title for the second time. The following year he beat Rene Arredondo and won the world title for the second time.
Right.
So that was I think 3 years went by. And prior to the 3 years going by though, me and Roger, became friends right away. He said, brother, when you get ready to turn pro, or even before you even turn pro, come to Vegas and stay at my house.
Right.
And then when I came to Vegas to stay at the house, you was there. And we ended up sharing the room at the house on Mossy Rock Court.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that went on, I think, for like 2 or 3 times. I came to Vegas before I eventually moved there. But it was Roger the one who gave me the inspiration to come and move to Vegas.
Right.
And that's all I wanted to say about that. So, just giving the introduction of how we, got hooked up and got together, our ages. Actually, when I moved to Vegas, I was about 21, I think. So this was in 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a long time ago.
too long. The time sure fly.
Yeah, it sure does.
So what I wanted to ask you, how many world champions in your lustrous training career as a world class trainer have you trained?
Let me see. I think there's 6.
6.
Yeah. Let me see if I can remember them all though.
I got 3 of them I want to ask you about, but go ahead.
Yeah. Shannon Briggs. Sultan Ibrahimov.
Mm-hmm.
Celestino Caballero.
Yep. Remember?
Steve Forbes.
Forgot about Stevie.
DeMarcus Corley.
Damn. That's more 2 people I forgot about.
Yeah, and the one who had the most titles was I trained Calvin Concrete Davis
Okay.
for his title fight too.
Okay.
And but the person that won more titles than anyone was Jessica Rakoczy. She won 8. She won 8 world titles.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, from what you remember the year range it was?
I'm sorry.
Do you remember what years it was? Her range?
No, I think it was. It had to be. It had to be probably late. I would say late 90s or early 200s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, what about the one you got now? What's his name? Wasim? You training Wasim? Wasim?
No, right now, I'm not training Wasim anymore because he actually moved back to Pakistan, but he's invited me to coach him for his upcoming fight, or if I'm available.
Right.
But this time around, I know I'm not going to be available because, excuse me, I gotta I'm going to Pakistan. Not Pakistan. I'm going to Baghdad. No, what is it? Thailand.
Thailand.
That's
Okay.
it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm going there and do some seminars in Thailand.
Yeah, I'm looking to go there soon myself.
Well, maybe you'll meet me there.
Right. Exactly. Wow. So do you know exactly when it might be, or do you don't want to tell that? It's cool if you don't.
No, it's already pretty much out there.
Okay.
I think I'll be leaving from Vegas probably around the 23rd or 24th,
Okay.
and then I'll be there. I'll be in um what is it called though? What is the city called?
Pakistan, I can't tell you, bro.
No, it ain't no Pakistan.
I'm saying the city. I can't tell you what the city is.
What is it? It ain't Baghdad. It ain't that. It's something with a B though.
Yeah, I got you.
That's
Well,
that's horrible. That's
no,
horrible.
it
I
ain't.
don't know where I'm going.
You ain't from there.
Huh?
You not from there.
No, yeah, I'm not from there, but still, I should know. I mean, I should know because this is a big event.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but anyway, I'll be in Thailand, and then I think after that, I'm going to spend another few days and probably in China. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that I'm going to be doing seminars for at least 7 to 10 days.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
what I'll try to do is I'll try to send you the link
Okay.
um from me going there and basically it's just me showing me training my fighters in the gym.
Right. Right. Yeah, I like to see that. I like to have that.
Yeah.
Okay, one question I got is out of Celestino, Wasim, Sultan, you said two other world champions. Who was the best one you think you trained and why?
I think the best one I trained was probably Shannon Briggs, but I think the one who accomplished the most and actually accomplished the most because he listened more.
Right.
And I think Shannon was just, I think Shannon could have been, amazing heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he had so many gifts, but he didn't use them.
Right.
He had, unfortunately, he had too many people around him that basically just tooted his horn just to be around him. And basically I got to a point where I ended up leaving Shannon because I knew how good he was, but I knew that he wasn't going to fulfill, where I thought that he should be.
Yeah.
And so we ended up parting ways. And then we parted ways. Then I started training Sultan Ibragimov. And Sultan Ibragimov became his first defense. And so he won the title. I took the title back from him.
Gotcha. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Now I'm gonna go off track a little bit talking about your fighters because you made me think about something. You made me think about Roger. Now, the second time Roger won the world title, I stayed with him for some years off and on. Staying in the house with him.
Yeah.
And just by my observation, do you think Roger had some of them kind of habits where he didn't dedicate himself, and he could have been much greater than what he was. Even though he was great, he could have been much greater if he had dedicated himself. How you feel about that?
I think, um, yeah, to a degree, but I think Roger, he worked. I think what Roger's problem was that he worked too hard in the gym.
Okay.
Because he wanted to spar almost every day.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And I mean, and he didn't really care so much about running. He was kind of like more like James Toney. He got in shape by boxing.
Right.
You know, and I mean, he didn't care who he boxed. You could be, you can be a lightweight. You can be, a heavyweight. He didn't care.
Right.
And I've seen him spar with guys that was like 175 and 168, and didn't have no problem with none of them.
Right. That's amazing. Most young fighters don't even know that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people don't really know his legacy unless they've been around him.
Right. Yeah. Well, you telling the truth, because I had the honor and the privilege to be around him. So actually, I learned how to stay in the pocket and block punches just from watching Roger.
Yeah.
Because I used to, because I got long arms, I used to have to move a lot, and I had in my mind, I got to move so I can get my distance. But after seeing Roger shoulder roll and stand in the pocket and just block punches, I was a totally different fight after that. Even though I didn't stay in the game and dedicate myself no more, because I found something else I liked after that and I wanted to put my time in. But if I had stayed in and used what I learned from Roger, I would have been a hell of a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I chose to be a family man and do other things, so.
Yeah. Well, nothing wrong with that.
Yes, sir. Nothing wrong with it. Okay. Also, I want to talk about your career as a fighter a little bit, because a lot of people don't know you had a pretty good career, even though you
it's
are.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys you fought was really tough, and some of them were some good fighters. And one of the ones I want to talk about is Jesse James Leha.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you went 10 rounds with him. And
yeah, the fight was a very close fight. And that was a fight. It's funny. It's funny because I'm going to tell a story what I shouldn't tell. But I got to tell the story because basically I ended up getting that fight with Leha. Probably it was like on a it was like a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night fight, something like that. But I didn't know nothing about the fight. I mean, I had been training a little bit.
Yeah.
But the one thing is that my manager came knocking on my door, and he said, "Jeff," he said, "you want to fight?" Because it was on TV too. He said, "Do you want to fight?" And then I said, "Well, how much I'm getting paid?" And then he said, "Well, X amount of dollars," and basically it sounded good to me. But the one thing is this: when he knocked on my door, I was in bed with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
So basically, I told her to go just run in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So basically, of course, I mean, and when I fought him, I mean, I did well. I did real well. I mean, and me and him became cool. I mean, he's a real nice guy.
Right.
Mostly all the guys that I fought, I ended up being real cool with them.
Yeah. Yeah, we as fighters understand each other.
Yeah.
And we know what we go through as fighters,
Yeah, and I think what it is that once you step in the ring with someone, after that you respect them. You respect the fact that they had balls enough to fight you.
Right. Exactly. You know, boxing is a small sorority,
Yeah.
and if you stay in the fight game for at least 10 years, you know, you pretty much become friends with at least the ones you train with, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we
Yeah,
both can
I'm good
relate to
friends
that.
with I'm good friends with pretty much all the fighters that I've trained.
Likewise, likewise. Yeah, because like I say, you know, boxing is a small sorority, and you know, it's a very unique sport. You know, everybody can't do that sport. I don't care what they
No,
say.
no, that's true.
You know, so I take my hats off to anybody that get in that ring and then want to keep trying it.
Right.
I want to ask you about one other fighter that you had that I used to train with in Houston, Joey Gamache. Now you fought him in his hometown
Yeah,
in Maine.
yeah.
So
I fought him in this, and that was another fight that, I mean, anytime I fought somebody with a name,
mm,
it was short notice.
yeah,
So it
yeah,
was once again, it was one of those same situations where, I got caught at the last minute, but I took it.
right,
Because I mean, once you fight somebody that's already established. I mean, you got to try to do something to put yourself in that position, and that's what I did.
right. Well, I want to say this to you. I don't know if I ever told you this before, but I want to tell you this now. You know, me and you boxed pretty. I say many rounds together. And out of
Mm-hmm.
all the fighters I've been in the ring with, which I can say over 100, you are the only one that I couldn't hit when I wanted to hit. You was hard as hell to hit. And I tell people this story when I talk about it. I said,
yeah.
Jeff is the only one I fought and trained with that I couldn't go over 3 rounds with because I'd be so damn tired from missing trying to hit it.
It's funny though that a lot of people. It's funny. A lot of people don't even know that I box, and
Really?
then the people that do know that I box know kind of what you know is that I was very very elusive and extremely hard to hit, but it's funny because like when I'm in the gym, these these young kids here, they don't know nothing about me, you know. But I don't care. It don't
Right,
matter to me
right,
because I know what I done.
right. Yeah, and that's all that matters, you know. You
Yeah.
know what you done. History recorded it. And there's still a lot of people around that's still living like me that can attest to it, you know?
Oh yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, it's it's weird because to be honest, I never even intended to box. The reason why I got into boxing, I mean, I had already I always did boxing when I was young.
Right.
And I got started, of course, I got started with Roger. And so, and I never ever thought that I would be boxing, this long or being involved in boxing this long because basically, I, when I was graduating from, from college, I got a phone call from Roger because me and Roger we were so close when we were young. It was like we were inseparable.
Yeah.
And I think that what ended up happening is that he started missing me because I was missing him at the same time. But basically he said, "Well, you want to come to Vegas?" And I said,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Yeah." I said, "Yeah." So I came to Vegas, and when I come to Vegas, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is because that's when he had all those cars.
Yeah. Yeah. I
He
remember
had a
that.
bunch of cars at that time. He said, "That car right there is yours." I said, "Well, what?" I said, "I don't live here." He said, and then the next thing he did, he took me to um, Alex Freed's jewelry store,
Mm.
and basically who ended up becoming my manager.
Right.
And he said, "That's your manager."
Mm.
And I'm like, and so it's like, it's kind of weird because I'm not expecting any of this stuff. But what it did, it made me change my mind because I said to myself, I can give myself a chance at doing this to see how far I can go. And, especially when, and then also now I'm back. I'm back with my brother as well.
Right.
So it's kind of like in full circle. It was like, okay, I'm taking a chance at what I'm doing, but but I'm back to who was a big, major part of my life because me and Roger used to be like inseparable. We did everything together.
Yeah.
And so basically that's why I actually end up being in boxing.
Right.
But one thing is this: is that once because I'm gonna be honest, I never cared about boxing, but I didn't want to embarrass my family name because so I did work hard, and also the one thing is this: is that I basically because I wanted to, do work what I went to college for, and I promised my mom because my mom she really didn't want me boxing,
Yeah.
but I promised her, and I also promised her that um, I'm gonna get a degree, and when I get my degree, I'm gonna give it to you. I said because I'm doing that for you, even more for you than for myself.
Mm.
And so, and that's what I did. And basically, she loved me going to college, but she didn't. She didn't want me, boxing. And I think all moms are that way about their kids, or about especially the youngest child.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So,
I agree. My mom was the same way.
yeah.
I had over 300 amateur fights,
Wow.
and it was all on TV in the city of Dallas. They advertised my previous Golden Glove wins on TV.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing, Jeff. I had over 100 some trophies in my house. I still got a lot of them, but I don't have what I used to have.
Right.
But the thing of it is, my mother was so protective of me. With me being her firstborn, she never, ever, ever came to see me fight one time.
Right.
And she used to say, "You got all these trophies, boy. Ain't you tired of that stuff?" I said, I ain't doing it for the trophies now. I'm doing it because, it keep me out of streets. I get to travel. I get to come back. We was in the projects back then.
Yeah.
I can come back and tell my friends where I just came from and who I met. You know,
Right.
who else can do that around here? Nobody. So I was a some people call it a hood celebrity. I was either a hood celebrity back then or a city celebrity, whatever. I was the man. So
Right.
and but I like I say, I trained all the time and I earned that. Nobody didn't give it to me.
Right.
And so I totally understand and relate to what you're saying about your mother, 1,000%. Because all of my relatives would I gave them bragging rights. So they used to
Right.
go around the city bragging about me. My first job out of high school, I worked at the biggest hospital, the same hospital that John F. Kennedy Jr. was taken to when he got assassinated. Not John F. Kennedy
Mm-hmm.
Jr., John F. Kennedy Sr.
Right.
When he got assassinated in Dallas, I worked at that same hospital, which is called Parkland. And that was after I had won the Junior Olympic Nationals, Dallas Golden Glove about 5 times, So when I started working there, they put me in the they had like a monthly newspaper magazine. They put a big article in the magazine about me back then. So those type of accolades and honors and stuff like that. When you're a young man that's poor, you
It
know,
keeps you motivated.
yeah, it keeps you motivated. Yeah, and plus you inspiration to the other young people that's around you. You know,
Right.
and family members. So I said all that to say, then none of that impressed my mother at all. She was like, I
Right.
ain't trying to hear it. I want you to quit boxing. I said, what else up to do? She said, I don't care as long as you don't be doing that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom said that too. She sure said that. She said, I don't want you boxing. She said you went to school all these years and you gonna be boxing.
Right.
And I said, yeah. I said, but I said the one thing is this. I said, I said the only way I'll know if I can do anything in boxing is if I have to put myself in it rather than lie to myself and say, oh, I can beat this guy, I can beat this guy. But, the only way I can do it or prove it is to get in the sport. And so that's what I did. I just, I got in the sport and then I think she probably did come to a few amateur fights because she started seeing me, I was winning.
Yeah.
So that was all right. She didn't care, but of course, she thought that I was going to, get hurt, So that's why, and that's what with almost any parent, especially your mom,
Right.
that because boxing is a brutal sport. It's a
Right.
very brutal sport, and things can happen. I mean, because me myself, I've actually seen one fighter die in the ring. I was sparring with him, so I went to the fight with him. And then there was another guy here, a young guy, and his the guy that was managing him or whatever, or was his friend, I don't know, was basically taking him from gym to gym and basically end up getting him killed.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was there when he had his last breath.
Wow.
Because it happened in Mayweather gym.
How long ago was this?
This was a long time ago. It was when I was still fighting pro.
Okay.
So it was a long time ago. But I mean, it was just because I had seen the guy going around from gym to gym, and then actually that makes 3 times because even when I was in the Team Combat League, I was like, I was like one of the head coaches for Team Combat League. And I mean, now I think they're in the 3rd season now. But I was with them for either the 1st or the 2nd. I'm not sure. I think it was the 2nd season. And a guy, he died in Team Combat League too. Basically, he did the exact same thing. He went from gym to gym, gym to gym, gym to gym. And then, I mean, one day he was in the gym and then he was sparring with someone. And he got hit. And he went down. And it looked like he was going to get up because he looked like he wasn't even really hurt. But it was over.
Right.
And it was,
wow.
I mean, it wasn't, and the bad part was that they were trying so hard to try to put the blame on someone, but you couldn't really put the blame on anyone. I mean, because basically, he's a grown man, for one thing, and he did this. It's different when you come to the place where you're supposed to be and you're working there, it makes sense. But if you're just randomly going to all these different places and nobody knows about it. Nobody knows what you're doing.
Right.
And so basically, and that's what ended up happening. That's what ended up happening to him. And I mean, super, super nice guy too.
Wow. So, do you have any information on their ages? The two guys, may they rest in peace.
Um, Let me see. You probably know of, Lavander Johnson, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I was sparring with him, and getting him ready for his fight. And what actually ended up happening is that in that next fight, he died in the ring.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember hearing something about that. But
Yeah.
I ain't have no details though.
Yeah.
Wow. What about the other guy? Do you know how old he was?
I think the other guy was probably only a teenager. He's probably like about 19 years old, something like that. Yeah. And then the other guy, he was probably in his early 20s, probably like maybe 26 or something like that.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lavander died in the fight also, though, right?
Yeah.
Do you
He
know?
got killed in the ring.
Do you know how many rounds he went?
I'm not sure. I think it wasn't many. I think it's probably maybe half the fight, maybe about, what I mean. But he was actually getting beat
Okay.
pretty bad,
Okay.
and I'm sure his father is living with the regret of letting his son go back out there when he was already hurt so bad.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things when you're a father. Some fathers pull the plug too soon, and then some fathers think that just because I trained my son, that I know what my son can do, but you don't.
Right.
You don't until something like that happens, and and I'm sure his dad regrets it every day.
Yeah, I commend Chico Corrales' dad, Diego's dad, for stopping the fight with Floyd, even though Diego protested and he didn't like it. But Floyd was beating the brakes off of him. So
yeah. I mean, you've been dropped 6 times. You can't win.
right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I say that, but then what happens after that?
Right.
He ends up knocking out the guy that everybody say Floyd lost to.
Right.
And basically
knocked him out bad.
Huh? Yeah.
Knocked him out bad.
And he got knocked down. He got knocked down back to back.
Right.
But it kind of make it seem like, okay, well, he did that to, what was the kid's name? Julio something? No, it ain't Julio. What's his name?
Julio.
No, Castillo.
Yeah, Diego.
No, not Diego.
Okay, Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo. Castillo is who he fought.
Oh, yeah. I know you're talking about. Yeah,
and that's who Floyd fought. And that's
right.
Because Castillo had him off. He had Corrales knocked out, and then then he ended up knocking him out.
Right.
That was a brutal fight.
Right.
But,
I got a friend down in Atlanta, and she named her child after Corrales. Because she saw the fight between Corrales and the one that we talking about. Castillo, yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you spend any time with Corrales, on a personal level, or being around him, in the gyms and stuff?
Not really.
Yeah.
It's funny. I knew Castillo, though.
Oh, you did?
I knew Castillo.
Okay.
And it's funny because I remember a long time ago, because that's what I used to spar with Chavez all the time.
Yeah.
So while I was sparring with Chavez, he was one of Chavez's sparring partners too.
Okay.
And so basically, it's funny because he said, yeah, Jeff. He said, man, I want to fight your nephew.
Mm.
And I'm like thinking to myself, I don't think you want to do that.
Right.
But then he ended up fighting him, and he fought a great fight with Floyd.
Right.
I mean, people thought that he beat Floyd, but I don't think he beat Floyd. But people think he beat Floyd because Floyd was beating everybody else so easy.
Right.
You know, and so I mean, and so I can understand why people would say that, but then the second fight around, he come back because Floyd didn't have to fight him again, but he did,
Right.
and he proved that. You know, I mean, the same thing he did with Madonna.
Right.
You know, if you think that I didn't beat you, come on, let's do it again.
Right. You know, well, Floyd's training ethic and the way he trained, I'm not surprised that nobody even came close to even beating him. Because his middle name should have been, instead of Money, Jim Rat.
Yeah.
Shit, 'cause that's who he was. I mean, when I first seen him, what year was this? I'm gonna say about 1990 he came to Vegas, maybe 91,
Yeah.
and he was a little boy then.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this, but I'm gonna bring it back to your memory. I was watching him. I'm a grown man now, 25 years old, and I started training maybe 30 minutes, and he came in after me. 3 hours later, I had just finished. Little Floyd, as we used to call him back then, was still training.
Right.
So I looked. I said, it stayed in my mind. I said, I'm gonna go to the house, but I know this child right here, something ain't right. So I came back the next day. I remember like it was yesterday. 30 minutes to an hour, he was there before me training. When I left 3 hours later, he was still training. So I said to you, I said, Jeff, there's something wrong with your nephew, but I said he gonna be a beast one day. I don't know if you remember me telling you that, but yeah. And then I proceeded to go watch him, at the Olympic trials in Oakland. I flew up there with just me and Roger.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me his credential just to get into the fight, so I ain't had no way to get in. He gave me his official credential to get into the fight. And I still got it.
Yeah, I know you showed it to me.
Yeah. So
maybe it'd be worth something one day.
yeah, it probably worth something now. I don't know. Yeah, but it's something I'm gonna try to hold on to if I can. I just say it like this. I'm saying.